Stevie B.
Yeah, buddy.
How are
What's
you,
up,
man?
dude? I'm good, dude. I'm good.
Yeah.
I just got out of the ocean, so it's a good day.
Are you deflame?
You
What's the
what?
word I'm looking? Like
De- de-
anti-inflamed? Anti-inflamed?
Anti-inflamed. There you go.
Deflamed? Has your flame been taken away?
Yes, it has. But no, I don't know, dude. It's just it's so refreshing, man. You can't not help feel good when you get out. So
When you get out, when you get in, you don't feel great. When you get out,
no,
you
well,
feel
it's
great.
cold.
Thank
Yeah,
God
it's
I'm
cold.
out of that cold water.
And it's
That's
been
what you
windy.
say.
Totally. It has been windy a lot too. So
Well, that must not feel good when you're the evaporational cooling with 48-degree water.
no, it's not good. So I don't know what the water is right now. I think it's like 50 something.
It's
But
cold degrees.
it is cold for sure. Cold degrees.
Cold degrees.
Totally.
All right. Well, before we get into anything, a little, just a little house cleaning, housekeeping,
Not
house
cleaning.
cleaning.
That's later. That's later today, sir.
Housekeeping. Our April dates are up and abundant because we ended. Not only do we have we started with an April run, April tour, and then we're like, let's throw in a weekend.
Yeah, that was kind of just last minute. So I hope that works out well for us.
That's eight. So that's eight dates. 8 dates in April, starting Saturday, April 9th in Richmond. That's a day show because it's a Saturday. Same with April 10th, Sunday, in Virginia Beach. If you're interested in that, act quickly because Virginia Beach is nearing sellout.
And I got to say that probably Virginia is probably close too at this point. So
Richmond as well.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah,
because those are both in Virginia.
We'll get the counts this week or in the next day or two because
yeah,
we'll see what those are because we get them weekly. By the way.
Yep.
We have Linda over at Coastal, and we have a few people who work with Linda who have to call every club every Tuesday and Wednesday, wait for the counts, and it's a nightmare just to get counts.
Well, because you might say, why do you care? Well, because what we try to not have happen is people say, oh, I didn't know you were there. So when we get counts, that lets us know, okay, well, we should do more advertising on Facebook. We should maybe call a TV station in that town and maybe throw an ad up on TV or something just to let people know.
Yeah.
So that's why we get the counts, because it lets us know what work we have left to do.
Absolutely.
So that's April 10th in Virginia Beach.
Yep.
April 11th, Monday in Raleigh, North Carolina. Good nights. Tuesday, April 12th in Charlotte. Yep. Wednesday, April 13th in Atlanta at the Punchline.
Yep. And then a city right around the corner.
Yep. Suburban Atlanta, Denver. So not suburban Atlanta, Colorado. Thursday, April 14th. I've already booked our flights, so we will.
Okay, great.
Plenty of time.
Amazing.
So Thursday, April 14th in Denver. Then a week and a few days after that, Saturday, April 23rd, we will be in Tacoma, Washington at the Tacoma Comedy Club. And Sunday, April 24th at the Irvine Improv in Irvine, California. In Steve's backyard.
It should be fun.
So we were excited for all those shows, all those places.
So Sunday, do you have to leave right away? What time's the show? What time did you say the show is?
It's a 3 p.m. show.
Oh, I'm sure there's a flight out for you.
Probably.
Unless you want to stay.
Well, it depends. I mean, I would enjoy staying. I just gotta,
because I'm probably gonna have a big dinner afterwards. So.
Oh, I like dinner.
I know you do.
I like dinner.
I know you do.
Maybe there's like a 9 p.m. out of LAX that I could make.
Ooh.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No. There's got to be a late flight out. Well, you could go Long Beach, which I've done from your place.
Oh yeah.
I can go John Wayne, and you can go Ontario.
That seems much further away.
Ontario than LAX?
Yeah.
Not for me. Not for me. No.
Oh, I guess it's kind of like a triangle, kind of, right?
Yeah. So it's just an option. Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I'll buy you dinner.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
You'll take me to Flower Child, and there won't be any alcohol, and I'll be like, man.
No, dude, no. Because this is the first time I'll probably have friends come to the show.
Right. Right.
So
I
it'll
should,
be
so
fun.
well, what I'm excited, we haven't played Irvine in what year? In, I don't know, 4 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited. We're, they haven't seen a sniff of what we're doing in this current show.
Yes.
So I'm excited about that. And yeah, cool. All right. So
anyway,
all those dates are at stonecoldandthejackal.com/tour, or you can go to the homepage. You can go to the homepage and, just click on tour and events. But it's,
I know you're going to get into coaching and stuff, but what are your thoughts about trampoline parks? Because I got to take my daughter and her friend to, I did it before. I did it once before. But what are your thoughts on that?
In terms of like safety, in terms of fun?
Well, because you're a very cautious person, and germs possibly.
Well, I will say I do, and I don't want to put any, I don't want to, I don't put anybody out of business here. Like I'm not in that game. But I will say I do appreciate trampoline parks versus indoor play areas. Like we have,
I agree with you on that.
Right? Like we have we have a couple of them, and especially with the younger grades, all the birthday parties are at these things. They're made for kids' birthday parties.
Yes.
But then what ends up happening is the whole grade ends up calling out from school in about 3 days with a stomach flu. But well, because some of these, like there's this one place, I won't name it because I don't want to, as I say, but you go from like there's like almost like a ship with guns, and you like shoot foam balls at each other, and then there's another one that's more of like rope swinging and stuff, all touchy. Right?
What kind of touchy?
All touchy.
Yeah, everything. And then it's always hands to the face afterwards.
Oh, right. Well, then go eat pizza. Eat pizza. Yeah. Right? Let's. Why can't you eat something that requires a fork? Try that.
Yes. Fork you.
That's what it's called. But no, what I appreciate about the bouncing places, the trampoline places, they're less touchy.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing today.
Awesome.
And there's a massage chair there.
With a person, or like you put in a quarter?
No, since when was a massage chair ever a quarter?
Wow. $1.
No, it's $1.
Yeah. $1.25.
Whatever it is. Yeah. No, it's just one of the chairs that you kind of see in the airport sometimes.
Yeah. Speaking of touchy.
I better wipe that thing down, huh? Yeah, that's pretty gross now that you think.
Just watch out for the foam pit.
I don't like that thing. That's so gross.
Well, in the trampoline place, they like, because you could bounce and then go into a foam pit.
Yeah.
So now this is a question for the ages.
Is it?
What's worse? What would you rather? Would you rather your kid bounce into a foam pit or a ball pit? Because a foam, you can't wash that stuff. You can't.
No, you could. But do you really think they ever washed their balls?
I mean, if they're hard plastic,
do you think? Hey, do you think Chuck E. Cheese ever washed his balls?
Oh boy.
No, he's never did they ever wash their balls there ever.
Okay, but at least it's a hard surface. It's possible.
Sure. Yeah, I would pick the balls over the foam pit.
The foam.
No,
there's no way that's I mean, you just have to replace it.
No, COVID's in the foam.
It's in the foam.
It's in the foam, along with 7 other.
COVID.
COVID. I hope anyone else is laughing here, but besides us two idiots. Yeah.
So go to the jumpy place and look out for the COVID.
Yeah, watch out for that. And then we're going to talk about what you want to talk about in a second, but you do have some dates coming up on GH, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, but just in about, I don't know. I don't think they're that far ahead, because they're booking me with like a week and a half notice, when sometimes in the past it was like 3-4 weeks. So,
yeah, they might have had some shutdowns for COVID, so they're trying to catch back up.
Oh, maybe that too. Well, I mean, they may still be coming back from the,
Yeah.
from the holiday break too, making
Or
up
they're
space from
just,
that.
they lost a very, important character and they're just still sad. So they're working really slowly.
Just everyone's kind of just moving slowly. It's like walking through mud. Yeah.
But that's good, man. I'm happy for you. That's awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's cool.
So keep a lookout for Spinelli and
Yeah, buddy.
in a little bit here. So
Cool.
So one of the things that I know caught you by surprise over the last couple of weeks was when I told you that I was coaching golf.
Yeah, I didn't know really what to think. Like I didn't really comprehend what was happening. I didn't know it was a school. I didn't know it was a school golf team.
Oh, you think I was going into a private enterprise?
Well, I didn't know. I didn't, you know what I mean? Like kids have soccer teams. I go, okay, well, maybe there's a little golf team his daughters are on,
sure.
where they just go golf at the local place, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, you're not alone. It took our friend group about 3 or 4 times round the horn till everyone was convinced that it wasn't a joke. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy with the bad back's teaching golf.
Right, exactly right. Because we needed some coverage with some kid shuttling because of golf and Kira's her show at the school goes up a week from Friday, so they're in tech, so she's working crazy hours. Sure. So we, and a lot of our friends' kids, they all go together, they have activities together, so we carpool, which is great. And so when I was like, oh yeah, do you mind driving today? Cause I have to go coach golf. And I get a lot of ha-has. I get a lot like ha-has, like what are you actually doing? No. But yes, it is a school team. My daughter's in 5th grade. The golf team starts and it's school wide and it's, there's 1 class per grade. It's a small school. And it's 5th through 8th grade and so it's girls, boys, all 5th through 8th grade. And, all the coaches are just, it's volunteer. They just need warm bodies, basically.
Right.
And, for me, I've been playing since I was, 4 or 5 years old.
But what's weird about this? Here's what's weird about this.
Okay.
Well, because look, soccer is not that difficult to teach, right?
Correct.
Right. I mean, basketball, not that difficult to teach.
Mm-hmm.
Golf is not an easy sport.
No.
And we all know, me and you, because we play golf, we know how difficult it is to play golf and to have a good swing.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is it is.
So what are you teaching them exactly?
Right. So the things that I got to say, so most of the things that I am with these kids, which are a lot of beginners, it's teaching basic putting. It's about not using so it's creating the V with your arms and making a pendulum out of your arms, taking the wrist out of your putter, right?
Yeah.
And then we move out to chipping, same motion.
Yeah. Totally.
And then at the driving range, it's hard because some of these kids are like John Daly swinging, like where their backswing is so far over their head.
Sure.
But one of the things that I found, and this is like one thing that I noticed that a lot of kids need is keeping in their back elbow. Because they're like, a lot of them are baseball swinging.
Yeah.
Right. So they're they're like up here. So I'm like, oh, and so it's about trying, but the thing is you want them to enjoy themselves. So you don't want to overload them with these little tips and little things because but this is with anybody with golf, right? It's like you get one thing and then you try to work on that, but then there's 5 other things that are going wrong too. And so basically if they make good contact and the ball goes somewhere, you really reward them because you want them to get excited about it. And when you make good contact, that feels good. And and it just makes you want to do it again. But then of course, the more you do it, the worse you get.
Right.
So, but there's 3 of us and it's all really about just enjoying being out there, learning basic rules, basic etiquette. And really, we're just building up to playing on an executive course.
Okay. So that's what's going to happen, right? You guys are going to go, is there going to be a tournament like against another school?
One at the end of the season.
Okay. That's fine. That's not bad. That's fine.
Yeah. So it's, and with the par threes, it's great. You get 3 swings to get it to the green. And if you don't get on the green, you pick it up and put it on the green. And you get 3 putts. And if you don't get it in 3 putts, you pick it up and go to the next one. So there's
Great.
no one toiling. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that.
So, but I know you coached. So give me some.
Hold on. I want to say this to people out there who maybe have their kids wanting to golf or not golf, whatever. So John, my brother-in-law, John Gustin, like when I used to golf a lot. And he was like, hey, I want to golf. I said, you're not golfing with me unless you take lessons first. Right. Because I didn't want him, if it happened to be something he liked, I didn't want to start forming bad habits. Because,
Sure.
Right now, to break the habits that we have would be a lot of time on the range. Right.
Oh, for sure.
So if you have a kid who's interested in golf, get him some golf lessons. They're not that expensive in some areas with the SCGA.
Yeah, first tee is something that they do.
Yeah, first tee. So it's there. It's available. They make it affordable. You can, get balls on the range for a couple bucks now, sometimes free. So
yeah, depending. Yeah.
So I do that, please, because I did that for my son too, and he's like, Dad, I want to golf. I said, you're not golfing until you get lessons.
Right.
So now he's on the golf team, and he's been golfing 6 months, and he's learning, and he's doing great, and he's falling in love with golf.
Cool. I was excited because growing up, I was lucky enough that my parents were very involved with my activities, and and so I imagined when I was older and I had kids, I would be too. And I try to be as involved as I can, but like I'm not going to be their dance teacher, and I'm not going to be their, do you know what I mean? Like that's just not something that so when I do have the opportunity to coach, I try to do it. I mean, my schedule is such that I'm not terribly reliable.
That's the thing too, because Brooklyn is going to play flag football here soon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, do you want to coach? And I'm like, I just don't know. I can't really commit to weekends necessarily because we go out, and I don't know. Right. I didn't know anything. So I have a feeling I'll end up taking over the team when I get there, but it's hard for me not to say something when but in Tennessee, when I coached, it was fine because that's what they want. It's a football country, right? They wanted someone to go, hey, this is serious business. Let's play some flag football. The kids are only 6 or 7, but let's win. And, but look, dude, it's all about, for me, when I was teaching these kids, it was more of a lot of kids thinking that they can't do it.
Yeah.
Right. So it was just inspiring, making them think that they can do it. And like you said, reaffirming when they hit something, oh, that's awesome. You can do this.
Right.
Like if you put your mind to this, you can do this. You can do anything. You can achieve this. Right. So those were the lessons, that, obviously with football, it's a little different. You got to put the heart, you got to put the work. I mean, golf, you have to put the work in, but it's the discipline in anything. It's the discipline in golf. It's the discipline, but it's hard to go, hey, 5th grader, discipline in golf, and you're this, right?
Right.
But I think, dude, you're a great dad, and you already know what to do. So it's just instilling, belief that they can accomplish anything they really want to, even if it's not golf, just in life, just have somebody outside, because you never know what's going on in the house. You never know if they're getting complimented. You don't know if they're getting reaffirmed. You don't know any of this. So if you're the outside guy going, hey, you're awesome, I believe in you, and I believe you can do anything you want here on the golf course and outside. Right. And that's what I try. That's what I always try to do for the kids. So
yeah. And I'm hoping, that she likes it at least enough that we can enjoy it together, and whatever that means. Like and the par threes, actually, it's fun. One of our friends, her family's business is a par 3 golf course in the area too. So like,
awesome, dude.
Yeah. So we have the ability to go out to very accessible courses, and versus taking her to a full-size golf course where she's going to be like, this is a lot, like how do I get it there?
No, dude, listen, the best thing I did when I first started golfing was I played par 3s and executive courses. My short game was so good, dude.
Oh yeah.
Because of those courses, it was so good. Like it would save me, because my mid irons, my 3, 4, 5 weren't the best, but I could putt and I could chip like crazy, and I could drive the ball. But it was like, but yeah, those executive courses are great, dude, for sure. And I wanted to play. I started playing again, and then I got injured.
I know.
Which because I wanted to play with Jack, and I'm trying to figure out if I can do it not so violently, aggressively. Yeah. So yeah, because it's really about being out there with my son, right? That's really all I care about.
Yeah,
now.
For sure.
And beating him, but just being out there too.
Yeah.
And then really beating him. And then
careful.
I know he's close already, dude. He freaking smokes the ball. Dude, it's crazy. You saw his swing already?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's crazy. And he's getting it. And here's what the great thing about this is, and then we have a guest today, which is cool. It's the mindset that makes the difference. Like with Jordan, with Kobe, with Tiger Woods, with Jack Nicklaus. Like it was the mindset, because you had guys who were just as talented, right, as these guys. And you have it all the time. That's why you see guys in the NBA who are, the 12th man as opposed to Kobe.
Sure.
They're probably pretty talented guys. They're in the NBA, right?
So they're less than a 1%er in terms of talent.
Right. So it comes down to mindset. And that's the great thing with the coaching that I'm doing now. It's like I'm able to make Jack aware of those things, of preparation, like preparation walking up to the ball. Jack Nicklaus always said it. He goes, I never had the greatest swing. He said, but every time before a shot, I would literally visualize my shot.
Right.
I go, okay, it's going to go right to left, and it's going to hit there, and it's going to be on the green. And then he would just go swing the club. Right. So I'm just trying to, instill that in Jack, because that's going to be the difference maker.
Yeah.
Like John, his brother-in-law, was a scratch golfer. Like he was a phenomenal golfer, but he didn't have the mental at the time.
Sure.
Now it'd be different, but you're young and he couldn't overcome that.
Right.
Have a 2-shot lead on 18. He'd be like, oh,
right.
And shoot 4 over on 18. But, now if you can instill with the kids a lot of it's mindset, and confidence and self-belief, they're going to go much further with their talents for sure.
Yeah.
So,
well,
anyway,
we'll see. But in the meantime,
good luck.
Thanks, buddy. Well, I'll probably never be a golf guru, but in terms of soap gurus, you see that transition there?
That's a good one.
That?
I like that.
You like that? You like that?
Like you went to school for that.
I mean, we have a gentleman here who has been covering soaps for a long time and is a resource that we all go to for a lot of things. And we're very grateful to talk to him today. So enjoy our talk with Michael Fairman.
Michael Fairman, ladies and gentlemen.
Sir.
Ladies and gentlemen. Michael Fairman.
How are you guys?
I mean, we're good. It is so, like.
I feel like I haven't seen you in years.
I know. It's been years.
Steve's hard to find these days.
Even like a long time.
Well, I was just thinking, like, how used to you, how comfortable is it for you to come on other people's shows? Is that, I mean, how often do you do that?
I actually like it.
Oh, it's less responsibility, right?
That's not necessarily responsibility, but you get to talk. It's not you anchoring the show, right? So you're not in charge.
I thought you said angering, and I was like, is that what you always tried to do? Angering. Yes. No, I get it.
Angering. Yeah. No, it's good sometimes to be on the other side of it.
Yeah. For sure. So good. Then I got some questions, Michael.
All right.
I got some questions for you. I've known you for a long time. We've always had an awesome relationship. I've always had the utmost respect for you and what you do. And you work your ass off. Just for people who don't know exactly what you do, this guy's a grinder, always there, always what's the word I'm looking for? We can always count on you for something, Michael, always. So I appreciate that. But just kind of give a little background of kind of, your foray into soaps and your website and your YouTube stuff and your podcast that we did a long time ago, but I know you still do that. So just give me a rundown of that stuff if you don't mind.
Well, I think I told a bit of my story before, but like it literally started as a kid because I was an asthmatic and I couldn't go to school and I had health issues. And so my mom would watch all the ABC shows and Young and the Restless and all these shows. And so I ended up, to pass the time, I was there watching them with her. Little did I know, you know, and then of course, as osmosis, I remembered every character, storyline. I just had that brain,
That's awesome.
Ellie brain, to remember like all of it, right? And so never did I think it would literally come into play years later in my life. I mean, I went into show business as a singer. I was trying, my goal was to get a recording deal, to get a record label.
Yeah.
Singer-songwriter, and I was performing in New York with my band and doing my music. And I ended up working for Dick Clark as a clip producer on the Daytime Emmys. So I ended up, so my first foray into daytime to actually do something was to do the nominee packages for the Daytime Emmys, because I had knowledge of everybody's scenes and what they were doing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I ended up in LA working for Dick Clark. I'd come out like 6 months of the year to do like American Music Awards and Daytime Emmys and things like that. And I'd go back to New York. And then in 1994, I said, you know what? I think I should just go to LA. I'm getting more into television production. Let me do that. So at that point, it wasn't like being a journalist. At that point, it was like working in television.
Right.
So E was doing a show called Pure Soap, was doing a first talk show for soap operas. And I came on ended up being one of the producers of the show. So I would segment produce the stuff on the individual actors and the characters and all that. So that's kind of how it all happened. And then I started realizing I always knew I was a good writer, but I never really applied it. I wasn't like writing books, you know, I was songwriting, but I never really applied it to journalism. And this opportunity came up at Sony, where they had soapcity.com was in a gaming environment. It had Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, and they owned Days of Our Lives and Y&R. But they didn't know what to do with this burgeoning online thing that was going on. So I came in to be the executive producer of it and built, and that's how I started into the online part.
Was Soap Cities?
Yeah. So I was the executive producer, and I built it from like there was nothing. And it got so big that they allowed me to have a team and a marketing team. And at one point it was going to be a network, and then SoapNet happened literally 6 months before we were going to launch. So anyways, it was during that time that I got into the journalism part. And then when that kind of, and then I went to work for the WWE. I was a writer for SmackDown and Raw. I'm a huge wrestling fan.
That's awesome, dude.
Huge
Do you have like a wrestling persona that maybe we should know about?
But I will tell you what happened when I got to the WWE and I'm on the plane. They're like, what
wrestler are you?
And I'm like, I'm the writer. And they're like, you're a wrestler called the writer?
That's amazing.
So that was the whole, and nobody was believing that I was on the right team. They thought I was a wrestler.
Your famous move was the expose.
Yeah. So anyways, I did it.
Hold on, Michael. Hold on. The reason why is because Michael, we always connected over, you know, fitness and stuff, because Michael was in phenomenal shape. So that's why people are like, wait, you're not a writer?
Right. They're like, where's the geeky writers? So anyways, I did that for a bit. And then I ended up deciding to launch my own platform. And that was Michael Fairman Soap, morphed into Michael Fairman TV and all of that. And then as we all have seen over the pandemic, it was kind of like, I was moving towards a YouTube channel anyways. I thought that was go, because I think, Steve and Bradford, like it's very hard, I feel, at times when you're writing to really show the personality you want. I think a lot of it can be brought in this format.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Although I try to, in the writing format, bring myself to it. But I thought with that, it enabled me to do my music, to show the music videos, to put out.
I love it. Yeah, it's awesome.
To do the interviews, and that's how it kind of all.
Well, but I mean, along with your writing, like obviously you've always been kind of multimedia, because you've always had. I remember the radio. What was the
Soap Nation Live was the radio show out of Ricky's Entertainment, And Steve and I, you know, connected years ago to try to do something together too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it really, that to me was such an untapped territory at that
Oh,
point.
dude, listen, we would have been the
It's
first one podcasting.
number one we have been the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We actually did a podcast, a live podcast with live callers.
We did.
That's what a boss Michael Fairman is.
We went to Sirius XM or something, to one of the studios I was working with, because I had a show called Soap Break, like an interstitial show.
Yeah.
They wouldn't give me like a show. I had like the small Soap Break, like Soap Break Minute.
Right.
And I brought Steve and I were talking, and then we decided, let's try to put something together.
Man.
So
Right.
podcasts have always been something I started long time ago.
Yeah, you did.
And also, you know, I think people knew that I was over at Days of Our Lives for 4 years, creating a Google app for them. So then I ended up getting the experience of working, you know, how do we like produce content and put it on an app and make it the first. Now they're not doing that anymore, and they're doing YouTube, right? Because, you know, but it's been so interesting to like what I've tried to do is stay one step ahead of it. So so the genre doesn't just be so same old, and no new ideas, and how can we be current? Even though the format is old, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But the format, like, obviously, yes, the whether it's the half hour, the hour, in the way, yes, but the storytelling is not ancient. Like, that is what soaps do so well, is storytelling, and you just need to put it in different packages and different, but like the basis of what is happening now more than ever, you know, like if you were to have this conversation in 2007 or 2008, when, you know, like when some shows were about to be canceled and everything was reality and nobody was telling stories, everyone wanted just real people, that felt like a much less hopeful space. But now it feels very hopeful in terms of storytelling.
Absolutely. I mean, some of the stories have been great, and, you know, every show goes through its ups and downs and has clunkers and great stories. But overall, certain shows, you know, are in a great situation, and and are, you know, but it's just the nature of the genre.
Well, but I also mean that the format, you know, some people that are, you know, have been based in our format for years are looking for ways to find where else can we do what we do well, and where else can we put it besides at 2 p.m. every day on a network.
Well, so you have you're on the right track, and this is what Michael was doing for days, and this is what I feel is still missing for every show, because there's a wealth of content and material and behind the scenes and all these things and spin-off shows, like, you know, Days does the small little things, right? It's like GH could be doing those. I mean, there's so much more that they could be capitalizing on, but it's such a corporate environment, I feel, that they don't bring a person in. It's usually somebody who's gone up the ranks, right? So they're corporate, learning corporate, thinking corporate, and they're not thinking outside of the box at all. And they need someone to come in like Michael, who goes, hey, wow, look at a fresh perspective. And I know the genre. Look, this is all the stuff you guys have. I have access to all this. I will create more content for you than you'll ever imagine.
Exactly.
Right. And then that's how we're getting, I don't want to say getting newer viewers, but that's how people are getting more access.
Well, I think it's having that access, and we're in such a different time. And you guys know, because of the amount of content you put out, right? We are in a fast food environment. So people are content, and you're like, oh shit, I got to come up with another. You know, like,
right.
Yeah.
And
it's work.
So it is work. And and that is what Steve kind of nailed it, that's what I kind of felt was my the different thing that I could bring to any show, or each of these shows, was, let me take a look at what you're doing. Let's figure out a way to do other content.
Yes.
Let's blow this up more, so people, because, you know, there's the soap audience and the fans have a unique relationship that really isn't any other genre has. You know, they know you, or, you know, the characters. And so I just think there's so much more that can be done. And to your point, Steve, it does feel a lot of the times that the shows stay within the people within their bubble. So it's
Sure.
and not to say they're not wonderful people, but it's like
Oh,
No, yeah.
not bringing in, you're bringing in the same, you're in this. bit of a-
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, and
I-
that's but that's how the like TV and film it is. They're renegades. That's who started this business, right? And you get a guy who loves an idea like Stallone, who won't give up his script because it's his heart and soul and it's his passion. But anytime you get corporate kind of involved in things, it could water that down, right? And I feel with our genre, in our fan base is so loyal, and we've had such a great career. But there's 4 soaps left, right? And Bradford did make a good point. There is more of a positive outlook now than there ever has been because of streaming, because of access. But we just need to get them the access, right? That's really what's missing now. So
and I think you can have more. I think we're starting to see on a network level on some things them having a little more fun in some in the social content that they put out. I think it has taken a bit of a turn where it is like we can go there a bit. We can have some fun about ourselves. I think there was always this thing of like, oh, we don't want to make too much fun of ourselves. But now, you know what I mean? But now I see that happening. But absolutely. I mean, I think fresh ideas and fresh perspectives are great.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I feel like some of the some of the content used to come out of marketing, and now, boy, it's not just marketing. It's more than that. It can be more than that. Obviously it helps market the mothership, but you can create stuff like that serves. It should be its own branch of the whole pie, or that's a mixed metaphor. But you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? It's not just to market now. It doesn't have to be, right? Like it can be its own thing, but obviously, I'm sure regardless of what show you're talking about, everyone is, working over hours to come in under budget and do their best work. So it's not like there's extra time to be like, oh, well, let's try this. So,
that was always the problem. Like at Days, we had such a short window. They were grinding out shows. Like, can I bring my crew in? Can you stay for the? And they're like, I got to go learn my lines.
Right.
That was the challenge of how do you do this with the actors and get them in a place to deliver what you want and to have lose when they're like, I got 10 scenes to do.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
That was a little challenging, but I also think because all the actors like you guys have your own social media, right? So everybody is,
has access. People have access.
And they're putting out their own stuff.
Sure.
And they have to keep going, right? Like you guys, like I haven't posted in a week, and I'm like, oh shoot,
right.
I come up with something, so we're all kind of now in that world too.
Right. But like,
for sure.
One thing that's, you can post something on your Instagram from your life or from your dressing room or whatever. It's not so easy to create, it's to create, original content that is storytelling. That's hard. You need other people. You need people with different sets of skills. But there is such a hunger for the stuff that we do. And
I think Steve, both of you have a point, and Steve has a point. Like the streaming thing is amazing. Like more options, more things, and more like what Days did was it's contained story. So you're watching 5 episodes of a story. So if I'm Joe Blow and I don't really watch these, I realize, but I'm going to Peacock or wherever I'm going, and I trip on this, it's entertaining to me. I might watch the 5 shows, and I don't have to be invested in 45 minutes worth of story to understand what's going on.
So to kind of wrap this up, Michael, and then we can talk about the soaps for a second. But first of all, huge kudos to the last 4 shows that are standing, because they did survive, and they did everything they could to survive. So the EPs there that are running the shows, they saved the shows, right? And now, like you said, it's like there's people are wanting so much more now. It's just like, and we got to it's always figuring out the way to give it to them, you know,
Yeah.
and I know you've always been ahead of the curve, and I always appreciate that. And it's just been awesome. And thank you for being on here today, because we've talked about it many times. We're like, we got to get Michael on. We need an expert, because we are not.
Yeah, it's funny.
I'm like, wait, Steve, who fell out? What?
Right.
Like he said, who fell out? I said, we
I'm
just
like,
need
who
an
fell out
expert.
the last minute? Why am I being called?
Because these two dummies don't watch soap operas, and we don't know anything that's going on
Well,
soap operas. So
and truthfully, we have discussed so many ways to, like, bring more of like what's happening on the shows into our content, whether it's to talk about them on the podcast, and when Steve was on the show, we talk through recaps, and I'd be like, hey, this happened. He'd be like, oh, it did. And I'm like, that's not interesting. That's not interesting for our audience. So you know what we did? Yeah. So you know what we did, which we haven't done in a long time, but we did this exercise called recap relay, where we would take a recap. We would take like kind of an innocuous sentence from a recap, like Ava receives a package, and then start and just tell the story sentence by sentence until we reached that.
Until you got Ava received a package.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
It was like an improv. It was like that improv game, tell a story and you just go sentence by sentence by sentence until you like
your own recaps.
Right, but yeah, because so that was how we used content to create content, right? But and we've talked about doing kind of a mystery science theater thing on YouTube.
Oh, that's funny.
But we never pull the trigger because it takes so much time,
It does. Yeah.
But
you know that, Michael.
Oh,
Michael, just editing alone, I want to kill myself. I just want to be like,
and then, it's like, and then you see it, and you know one that when you did it, it's like there were so many stops and starts, like the overhead, the guys calling everyone to set and you can't talk, or like, wait a minute, my microphone, or people are upside down in the virtual thing, and I'm like, wait, but you're upside down. Could you turn yourself over? Are their microphones working? You're like, all right, I'm going to be spending all night editing this. So,
I know. It's funny when you're in the moment going, oh man,
right,
man, this
like,
is going to take me
like,
forever.
just a minute, let me fix. And I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us what's going on the
soap. So that's why that was one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, is because we as I said, we've been trying to bring this into our show, and what better way to bring it in than actually somebody that has it all in their brain.
Well, so what's going on? So do you know, and we'll start with Days for a moment.
Okay, great.
The Joe Devil is there, the Joe Devil. So Joe Devil is the character who's now possessed by the devil on Days, because Satan's been all over Salem again.
Okay.
So Marlena was possessed again after decades later.
Yes.
Right.
And then Johnny DeMira, Satan went into Johnny.
So who's Johnny?
Johnny is EJ and Sammy's son.
Who's the actor?
Carson Boatman.
Okay, great. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
So Carson Boatman has now, all of a sudden, he was in the room when Marlena was being exorcised.
Oh, and it just jumped?
It jumped into them, but we didn't realize it jumped into him till one day he was wearing a red suit in the mirror on New Year's Eve, and then his eyes turned yellow.
Okay.
And then so
that's how you know.
That's how you know you have yellow things in your eyes, and you're like, oh, you're Satan.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but at when Lucifer was on NBC, weren't they in the same building?
I think so.
Yes. Well, so maybe it jumped from Lucifer into Days. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So that's what's going on there.
That's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we have another thing where Sarah, she was locked away, and everybody thought she was dead, but she got drug induced and now believes she's the character of Renee Dumont from 1984. So she thinks she's somebody else because she read a book from a diary of Renee Dumont. So now she believes she is Renee Dumont. So on Days of Our Lives, we have, drug-induced hallucinogenic personalities and the devil.
Okay.
I've always appreciated that. I Days, so I feel like soaps have always been like having these kind of storylines that kind of push the limits of believability and whatnot. and I you know, like our show sometimes does stuff that is like, oh man, that's a little over the top. But like what I love about over there, they kind of just they're
Go
like, yeah,
for it.
that's
They
what
go
we do.
for it. Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, it's like Ron Carlivati, Jamie Giddens, you know, they have the history, they have the camp,
Yeah.
they bring that to the show, which sets it kind of different, obviously, right, than the landscape of the other shows.
Well,
Right?
and I wonder,
Right.
and you know, we should, I don't know, we would be fun to talk to Ron at some point because he wrote for, obviously this is his third head writing job,
Yeah.
from
One
One
Life,
Life to
One Life
GH to
General
Days.
and Days. Yeah.
And like I wonder if you sit in that chair at Days, you're like, all right, I got this at my back. I can do this. I possession. Let's go. Like I wonder, you know, like you're working with a different set of tools there, which is cool.
Absolutely. And then, yeah, and so there's that.
Okay.
Beautiful has been, you know, everybody's infuriated with the story, but yet you can't not watch it.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and also I think 19 minutes of not watching, of being infuriated is different than an hour of being
For sure.
That's true.
For sure.
That's true.
For sure.
That's true.
It's a little more tolerable.
Yes.
You're right.
So
Yep,
Brooke,
it is.
Catherine Kelly Lang, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So Sheila had it out. Kimberlyn Brown came back to the show as Evil Sheila, and she had it out for Brooke. Brooke's an alcoholic. So
Ooh.
basically what happened is on New Year's Eve, to get back at her, she switched the non-alcoholic champagne for the alcoholic champagne.
Ooh,
Oh,
dangerous.
snap.
Labels. And meanwhile, Brooke's not realizing what she's drinking, and gets completely schnockered. And then she's drunk and doesn't realize she's drunk and been drinking real champagne. And then Sean Kanan is now back on that show.
Yeah.
As
Deacon. Yeah.
So he comes in on New Year's Eve, and he's got this thing for Brooke, and they share a drunken kiss on New Year's Eve. And
That's kind.
And then he ends up in her bed, but they're fully like nothing happened. But all this got around to the point where now it ruined her marriage to Ridge. Sheila was triumphant in her plan. Krista Allen is now the new Taylor, used to be Hunter Tylo. Now they're putting those two back together.
Right.
And Thomas, who you're looking at,
I couldn't be more excited right now, Michael.
you're like, okay.
This is great.
And Thomas, who's the son of Ridge and Taylor, found out that Sheila did do that, switch the alcohol thing.
Okay, so
but instead of telling anybody, he's keeping it a secret in order to keep his parents together.
Oh, okay.
So if I said this to somebody at a party, they would literally throw me out the door and think this guy is.
No, I love
Yes.
this. This is great. All right, so
Well,
all right, so that's B&B, and we got YNR and GH
General
left.
Hospital. General Hospital's been great.
Yeah.
It's been
Well, just calm down.
okay.
Michael, you were my friend for 20 years, and now,
I didn't say it's been great because I was saying
and now you're not.
That's funny.
Go ahead.
No, it's been, I mean, you guys know, I mean, the actors over there are great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, so like the Carly, Sunny, Nina stuff.
Carly, Sunny, Nina stuff's been really powerful because of those three
Of course.
Sure.
actors. I mean, amazing.
Yeah.
And I think Laura has been just unbelievable through the entire.
Oh yeah,
When
beast.
scenes with you and her were amazing.
Yeah.
Like all of that was just all great, and she's just
awesome.
amazing. And then we finally had Peter August's comeuppance,
Right.
and he died, and it was great that he at the end it was Finola, it was Anna who was with him at the end, where the whole story had started.
Oh,
Nice.
okay. So I knew Felicia. I thought Felicia
blocked him over the head with a crowbar, and then he falls down. So
Right.
he's there and he's dying.
Sure.
Okay.
Anna's there, and
So-
instead of calling the ambulance, she doesn't.
Ooh.
She leaves him there to die, and basically tells him she didn't call the ambulance.
Wow, that's
And
awesome.
but in his final moment, he's dying. She grabs his hand and helps him, like, just die. But she was tough Anna that you.
Wow, that's
expect
awesome.
that conflict, and Finola was just amazing.
Yeah,
course.
she's amazing. Yeah.
And then
Nice.
also Amanda Sutton has been amazing as with Kirsten Storms with the baby.
Right.
Yeah, baby, what is it? Baby Louie? What's it called?
Bailey Louise now.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
Bailey
yes.
Louise.
Are they calling her Bailey Louise?
Yeah. So
Oh,
now
I thought
That's a
I thought it was
mouthful.
I thought it was Baby Louie, dude. I thought you said Baby Louie. But
I like to lead them astray sometimes for a good time.
so
Yeah.
Bailey Louise. So what happens is after Peter dies, Brooklyn's going to give the baby back to Maxie because she's been protecting the baby. So
Right.
they have these amazing scenes between Amanda
awesome.
and Kirsten. Gets the baby back, and then Kirsten said they're going to name the baby Bailey Louise in honor of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And keep the name.
Of Jason. Yeah, thank you.
Jason.
Oh, BL Bailey Louise Brooklyn, like same initial. Okay, or just because Brooklyn called her Bailey.
They called her Bailey originally. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
We don't have that answer, Bradford. Thanks.
All right, it's fair enough.
But Bradford,
Um,
I have a question, Bradford. Isn't there? I saw there was Spinelli and Sam. Is there switch name Spam?
yeah.
See that?
Yep.
Bradford,
we're
do you like spam?
well, it's salty and delicious.
So do you guys when you
Wait,
were
we got to do Y and R.
I'm doing YNR, but I had a question. Do you guys did you watch your work when you're on it? Do you watch yourself back on it, or when you were on? No.
We the times that I usually catch my work is on Instagram because I follow the show, and so they when they're
and Emmys for me, like that's the only time I ever see my
when
work.
when they clip it out, that's usually how I see it. Yeah. But yeah.
YNR.
YNR. Young and the Restless.
So Robert Newman came on to YNR as a new Ashland.
Right.
So he replaced Richard Burgi, was let go. And then he's now playing the part. And the story is he faking his cancer? Is he faking his illness to take over Newman Enterprises from Victor? And therefore he's been, duping Victoria, who he married and said he loved. So we don't know right now if it's really a dupe. It looks like it is, that he's been lying, but we don't know because he apparently is miraculously cured. And then Jack, Peter Bergman.
Yes, Peter.
Years ago, they had his son was chemo. So he was the son because Jack had a wife, Alon, from his days in Vietnam, and they had a child, Chemo. But Chemo was never mentioned again for like decades.
You're right.
But all of a sudden now they're bringing back the story where Chemo has died, and they've hired an actress named Kelsey Wang who's about to debut, which we think is going to be Chemo's daughter, which would be Jack's granddaughter. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
And they're also putting Michelle Stafford and Peter Bergman back together. So Phyllis and Jack.
Nice.
Are now back together.
Awesome.
You worked with, that's kind of the
bullet.
That's the moment.
I like that. You're awesome, dude.
This is incredibly useful.
We'll take it.
Useful. Is it useful at a cocktail party? Because when I'm at a member, they're like, I didn't watch that show.
Well,
now they don't have to. Well, they don't have to when they have you around.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
I tell you. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, dude, thank you so much. This was fun. Will you come back on?
Yeah,
for sure.
Of course.
Yes.
And tell everybody kind of where to find you.
Okay, so you can find me on michaelfairmantv.com. That's a website. My YouTube channel is the Michael Fairman channel. Nice. We have my music and the interviews and the game show I created and red carpet and all of that kind of features.
Cool.
And then Instagram, Michael Fairman TV, at Twitter, Michael Fairman, Facebook,
there you go.
Fairman, and there you will find me.
Michael Fairman.
Michael Fairman.
Yes.
Awesome, dude. It was such a pleasure, dude. This is so fun.
Guys, it's so great to see you guys.
Yeah, I'd love to see
it. It's been so long.
I know it has.
So thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Well, we'll do it again soon.
Thanks for fitting us in your schedule, man. Appreciate it.
Take care.